Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very last episode of Unravel, or which was called Magic and Musings, for the year of 2024. This channel was only started some months ago, so there is definitely excitement to what will happen next year, how this channel will evolve. There are some intentions of what wants to be shared here. So before moving on, I just want to say thank you to everyone that has been subscribing to this channel and supporting the space, whether here or on Rumble. I'm only just started the Rumble channel. But thank you so much for your time and your energy and your receptivity. It is very much appreciated. And yeah, I see you. I see you and I honor you for where you are right here, right now. 2024 has, for most of us, as well as the previous years, been quite challenging. But I do feel like it's been a precursor to what will be an enormous amount of change that'll happen very, very quickly. Perhaps not on the physical sense, but definitely energetically. So if you haven't been sensing that, in whichever way you do perceive, let's call it information, that's not necessarily physical, that's okay. Just know that it is happening with or without your awareness of it. So let's just take a pause here. Let's take a moment to open up the space and really sink into some reflections of the year of 2024. Like, what did that look like for you? What have you learned about yourself? How have you come into deeper contact with that aspect, or self itself, or whether you want to call it consciousness, divinity, God, source, however you relate to that. Let's take just a pause, just a moment, as we usually do in this space, but I feel like this is a little bit different because it is the last episode. It is the culmination of the whole year. And there is a need to now breathe and pause and stop. So if you haven't been with me before, if this is your first time, you can skip ahead if you like. But this part is highly encouraged, especially if you have some intentions for next year, or you want to reflect on the year that has passed and how quickly that's passed and what that means moving forward. So get comfortable. If you're sitting down, just feeling the chair beneath your bottom, feeling the ground beneath your feet. And the invitation is there to shut your eyes just so that you can be without the sense of sight. And if that doesn't feel comfortable, then you can have an inward gaze. We're just going to take some deep breaths here. So breathing in through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. And exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just doing it now in your own time. But as you're adjusting and being aware of your breath, just paying attention to the subtleties of how you're currently being in the physical sense, as in what the body is doing, what the posture is looking like, what the body is feeling like. I'm sensing some, one would describe, there's a level of anxiety here presenting in the sacral chakra. Actually, no, that's solar plexus. So if you are witnessing any agitation or frustration or any sensation at all in the body, just bringing your breath to that space. And really try to, with the exhale, relax and melt into it. So if you're sitting down on a chair, melting into the chair and feeling super supported by the chair as well as the earth beneath your feet. Just being aware of where your shoulders are. Are they sitting up high, or can you breathe some more relaxation into it? You bring in some sound, especially if there is that agitation. Just slowly bringing your awareness back to the screen. Taking your time to open your eyes. And just remaining in the space that you're in right now. As in energetically, emotionally, physically even, mentally. I'm noticing that my kids are doing what I asked them not to do. So there's a little bit of frustration. God damn. So you can bring in some movement if you do feel that tension's a little bit too heavy or intense. Just taking some more deep breaths in your own time and bringing awareness back to the screen. And I'm just going to pause my video so I can deal with that next door. Okay, now that that's dealt with, let's just pull some cards. I don't know, actually, there is no sort of outline for today's read. There's no idea of what wants to be done. I did have an intention of doing like a 1-card pull for each zodiac sign over the next coming weeks. But I really don't know. So let's lean into this not knowing, actually. I feel that's probably the message here, is to lean into not knowing. And I'm going to make notes as I go, so I can put that in the description box below. But yeah, let's just open up, be open and receptive to what kind of wants to be shared in this space for this last video. And this card kind of flipped up a bit, so I will show it to you. It's the Death card. And I do feel that. I feel like a lot of things that don't align with us are coming to an end. Most sincerely, a lot of that is shit we don't need. Shit we don't need. Belief systems, patterns of behavior, attitudes, projections, narratives, that seems to be falling away for some of us very, very rapidly, to the point where it is contributing to a lot of confusion. But know that this is part of this journey. This is part of the unraveling from story, from belief systems, from thought. and the layers of conditioning that have been placed upon us by, list all the different places where this has happened, right? So anyway, I'm seeing the Truth card as well, and I do feel that is very much in alignment with what will be coming through in the next couple of years. 2024 has definitely been a massive starting point for this deconstruction of paradigms that are not conducive to how we I'm hearing this connection to divinity, or like God consciousness, or consciousness in general. You know, like this, all of us, we usually speak the same language. How does this want to be said? We're saying the same things, but we're just using different language. And I feel like the more people are sharing their connection to source and divinity, God, the more we'll be able to actually make those connections, that we're all talking about the same thing, you know? Yeah, anyway, let's keep going. Right, okay, so let's just pull some cards. As I said, I have no idea where this, okay. I have no idea where this read or episode or video is going to go, but I'm just going to go with the flow, and this card has come out again. So the Death card. I'm hearing death of the ego. No doubt. Death of the ego. So what does that actually, what does that imply? This is, I guess, okay, so I'm hearing this, whatever is spoken about today is the final message for the year, as in, you know, a message for the collective, a message for bringing together all the pieces. Not sure what that means, but a summary of sorts. So perhaps that is a indication for us to ideally like summarize life, summarize either the year that has just been, 2024, summarize the last several years, maybe even the last 9 years with the card 36 here. And I don't actually, numerology wise, I'm not sure if we're in an 8-year or 9-year. Perhaps I need to look that up, what year we are in. I feel like we're in the 9. How do I work that out? Do I... I think, do we actually... I think we actually work it out by adding all the numbers together. So that this might be an 8-year. So, reflecting on the year as it was before we move into the next year. What have you personally had to let go of? So these are some prompts that you can ask yourself. What have you personally had to release? Whether it's belief systems, thought processes, mindsets, narratives, people, physical things. What did you need to let go of? What was the catalyst to bring you to that point? And how are you feeling about it now? Are you still in that space of contemplating that? And if so, this card is expressing to us that it is time. It is time to let go of the ways of being that we were, that is no longer going to, I'm hearing like survive, you know, it's not going to survive. So whatever way you were showing up or participating in life or expressing yourself in a way that's not authentic, in a way that's not conducive to growth. The growth card actually did come out before, and it's right there. If it's not conducive to growth, where was that going? That whole process will happen whether you like it or not. So it's best to prepare ourselves for things to be released or let go of, or I don't know why I'm hearing undermined, that no longer will be able to resonate with the frequency that we need to be in moving forward. There are some massive, massive shifts that's been happening over the last several years, if you haven't already noticed, and it's going to continue. There are going to be more revelations that are going to blow people's minds away in this projection, this illusion that we see in front of us, but also energetically, spiritually. It's I'm looking at this growth card, and it's like we're stepping away from the hypnosis. We are releasing the hypnotic nature of this illusion. And it's like we're going all the way from the outside. We're going from a space of externalizing everything, seeing everything on the outside, and behaving too from the outside, seeking external to us. We're going all the way back inwards, right here in towards ourselves. And I'm not talking about this physical body. I'm talking about who we really truly are. The number of the card is number 15, and reduced, that's number 6. Number 6 in the tarot is the number of harmony, of union, of unity. We're coming into union with who we really are. And no, it's not going to be an overnight process. I'm seeing the message card, that's also number 6, reduced. So, you know, whether this message will come through people, actual physical messages, or conversations with people, or in a divinatory sense, energetic sense. We are coming back into union with who we truly are. And that process, my friend, is not an easy one. Why? Because we're having to go all the way back inside. And what does that mean? We need to slowly unravel from these layers that have been either, you know, by means of our own doing, or you know, the awareness outside of us, people, how we grew up, culture, society, all these things that people have placed on top of us. Meeting ourselves in who we really are requires us to go all the way back home and unravel from all of this programming. So that's what the message, some of these messages are here, is about stepping away from ways in which you are not you, or how, let's call it, the world has, what the world has made us think about ourselves or who we are. This is an unraveling to come back home. And again, not speaking of the physical body, I'm talking about one, self, consciousness, awareness, presence. Let's get some more. What else? What are the final messages for this year of 2024? Eight is a number of mastery in the tarot. So, and the reason I say number 8 is because 2024 reduces 8. And you know, a vast majority, here's that card again. I said it. Freaking truth card. Not making this up, people. Some of us, and when I say some of us, I'm just speaking to, you know, these physical projections, because at the end of the day, we're all one consciousness. So, you know, what happens in the collective affects, we all affect each other. Excuse me. So so this is going to be happening. A lot of this purging, a lot of releasing of ideas, of concepts that have been in our lives for a very long time. The truth is going to be revealed, but not in the way we perceive it, not in the way we think. I honestly feel like we are going to go, a lot of us are going to be on this journey of really finding this truth within ourselves. Interesting. So we've got Okay, let's get one more. I definitely do feel like truth is coming out, being revealed, expressed. And there's definitely a need to ground ourselves so that we don't get pulled apart in a way, or taken into that stream. We've got the water card here, and it's also card number 9. Well, 18, so reduced to 9. I feel like a lot of us are going to become more sensitive in whichever way that resonates with you, to energies, to the truth. As the more we unravel, the more we take off these, strip back all these layers, and come to a more heart-led space, there is going to be a lot of, okay, how does that want to be reframed? I'm hearing the word intuition, so it's like, that word to me is a very complex word in how it's used. I feel like it has been thrown around a lot and I've been a proponent of that as well, but it has been thrown around a lot for a very long time, and I don't know if people really grasp what that means. But all it is really becoming more sensitive to the truth. Really sensitive to the truth, as in some of you will just know things and you won't know why you know them. Some of you will feel things and you won't exactly be able to explain it. And some of you will just straight up full out know it, like be in the truth and won't have to speak on it. So there are so many different levels to this, you know. This is a very complicated projection that we have got going on here. But there's a vulnerability to the water element. There's a softness to the water element. And I feel like this is also really inviting in more of those feminine energies. And I'm not speaking about feminine as in how people perceive femininity or being feminine, or it's irrespective of gender. It's to look closer and deeper into our stories and our narratives of what it means to be vulnerable and what it means to be, I like to use the word softer, because when you're softer, quote unquote softer, there's more space for perception, and not perception from the mind, perception from the heart, the soul, the self. And I definitely feel like there is a massive rise in the feminine. There's no, and I'm not talking about women. Again, I'm talking about the qualities, because for a very long time we've been operating from this very intense masculine aspect, and I feel like this is speaking to just, again, this unity of those parts of us, of all the parts of us. And as I was going to say before, there's no mistake in the fact that the symbol for water looks like or symbolizes the womb, right? Why is that being brought to awareness? A birthing of sorts, things that are being birthed. As with any creative project or with any process of creation, if you're creating from a space or a womb, let's call it a womb, that has not been taken care of, that has some, how does this want to be expressed? It's, I'm hearing input. So whatever you put into this process of creation, whatever you put in is what you're going to get out. So, you know, if you're operating from very much an egoic awareness or mind being same as ego, but if you're operating from mind or awareness of, ego, and you're creating from that space, that is what you're going to get in return. But when you're operating from complete receptivity, vulnerability, being in a flow state, as in surrendering to the fact that we actually don't know shit. We know nothing. All the knowledge in the world, that is all concept. At the end of the day, we don't know what happens when this natural body or this projection fades away. We don't know anything. So it's like when I was studying to be a life coach, one of the very first things we learned was to see life and to operate in life from a beginner's mind. And what does that require? That requires us to let go of the stories that we already have. That requires us to be in a space of being open to receive information from a different perspective, from a perspective of not knowing. So yeah, this is going in a very, very interesting direction. Very interesting. Okay, what else? Let's get some... Let's just keep going. Gonna pull out some tarot. One more shuffle. Okay. Show us what we need to know. Tell me more about this death card. What do we need to know about this death card? Oh my goodness, excuse me. Yawning. It's like letting go of the old. Like when we're yawning, we're removing, it's like this removal of old energy. Stop. So I'm like, I've got the cards like this. I'm not looking at it, but sometimes there's a pull to pick particular cards, and the card that was picked, dun dun dun, the death card once again. So my friends, there's some serious letting go. There are some things that are changing. There are things that are being alchemized. We've got 3 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles here. Again, the number 8. So, looking at releasing attachment to things, releasing these ideas that we are holding on to. Perhaps it's about like tangible things, releasing ideas and concepts that have to do with the tangible, like the material. Money could, if that resonates with you, money could be part of that. But mostly it's about, I feel, mindsets as well. Mindsets around that. Mindsets around money. By placing too much value on that, as opposed to collaboration, as opposed to people, networking. And I mean, even this card showing up here is looking at the ways that we used to relate with one another, looking at the ways that we used to work together and connect with one another and network. That's going to be changing. So I do feel, being given this vision of the times in our lives, or, I guess our ancestors, when we didn't have the things that we have now. We didn't have all this material crap, because most of it is utter crap, honestly. I'm being brought aware of like going back to basics of how communities used to work together and thrive, whereas the whole kind of narrative these days is about everyone's in it for themselves, and you got to just work on yourself. Sorry, not work on yourself. I definitely believe you need to work on yourself, but how does this want to be expressed? Is by withdrawing yourself from connections, withdrawing yourself from community. And I do feel like there's so much to be said about people working together to achieve great things. Yeah, it's about community. Again, I'm getting those visions. So it's like, what did they used to do back in the day? Everyone used to barter. They used to work together to help each other out. I feel like that needs to be, more of that needs to come into play. And I do feel like that will happen as a lot of these institutions and these global mechanisms are crumbling, or will be. Time will tell for sure. But there's also this Five of Pentacles. This particular card is illustrative to the way sometimes we can think that we are alone in a situation, that we are alone in life, whether even if we're around a lot of people, we think that we have to, let's say, quote unquote, suffer alone. And that is not, I just don't feel that anymore. I feel like what is going to be very much a big message for coming into 2025 is to start connecting with people on a fucking human basic level. And I'm just witnessing some emotion actually coming through the third eye. I'm hearing the word decency as well, and that's speaking to fucking taking care of one another on a human basic level, like taking care of one another. If you have the means, help somebody else. If you have the influence, help those that require more assistance. I don't know why I'm hearing wealth distribution, but I mean, that speaks for itself. It's about wealth doesn't necessarily relate to money, right? When we think of abundance, what does that mean? Everyone has a different definition of abundance. What does abundance look like to you? To me and to most people out there, it's talking about true, authentic connection to family, to be who we actually innately are, you know? We didn't, I mean, there's this reflection of, and that emotion is still there, it's moving around a little bit, but what was that was wanting to be said? Right, thank you. We didn't come into this existence or this projection or whatever, however you relate to it. We're not here to piss on people and to treat each other like shit. We came into this world with senses for a reason. We came in here with perceptions, i.e. senses, sight, taste, touch, all the things, for a reason. My personal opinion on that is part of that is for connection. Is to realize how deeply connected we are. Deeply connected we are. Threes are showing up big time. Number 3. Ace of Wands, number 1. Ace of Wands is new beginnings. New beginnings. Oh my God. And I pulled it underneath the growth card. New beginnings in terms of growth, inspiration, creativity, life. The wands are representative of the fire signs, right? And there's a little bit of a story here about fire can be destructive, highly destructive if unchecked. However, if it's used in a very intentional way, if it's used in a way that promotes life, then it can be very, very freaking potent. What was the other thing? Like in Australia, I don't know if they do this anywhere else, we do this thing called back burning. So we burn part of like part of a forest, but we do it for various reasons. Well, I don't, it's done for various reasons. But what happens after something gets burned to the ground is, particularly in nature, it allows for growth. It allows for more growth, better growth. Sometimes it comes back even better. I'm getting these images of a phoenix as well. Like if you're not familiar with the phoenix is a mythical creature that when it dies, it kind of like burns up, but then from the ashes, a brand new phoenix comes into existence. So it's the same sort of energy. It's like when we're using it in a very purposeful, intentional, heart-centered way, fire can be very beneficial. And yeah, I'm excited for what this is going to bring into 2025. I'll be very honest with you. Particularly because we are in Pluto in Aquarius air sign. So yeah. There is a connection to water in this card as well. If you can see that at the bottom. Tell me more about the growth. Knight of Wands. So what I just said, this fast movement of inspiration and influence, ideas, creativity, passion, determination. Oh, this is what one was wanting to be said before as well. Wand fire. Wand fire? Wand energy, which is fire energy, is prana, life force, right? So I feel like the more we're going inward, the more we are releasing these layers on us of how we're supposed to be and who we're supposed to be and what is our purpose, and just letting God, source consciousness take the reins. That once we can really truly let go, and that whole thing, that is not an easy thing to to navigate, once we are in flow state, this type of energy happens without us even having to do a damn thing. And it's surprising and it's shocking and it's delightful. I've only experienced it on a very small level, but boy, it's exciting. So exciting. Okay, tell us more about this truth. Tell us more about the truth. Oh, sorry, some of these... What's going on here? I feel like a lot of things are going to be revealed. We had multiple cards try to come out. And look what we have. We have the King of Swords coming up in the reverse. Check this card out. Need I say more about this? Truth is going to be revealed. Truth is going to be revealed. Any type of manipulation that is occurring in the collective will be revealed. And it, as I said before, it might not occur on the level that we assume or perceive, but it's damn, it will be coming out. Or it might not be like blatant or anything like that. Like, you know, for example, the stuff that happened with P. Diddy. It might not be that obvious, but it's going to come in a whole lot of different forms. I just said, just before that card came out, there are going to be a whole lot of truths coming out. A whole lot of truths. More so things that where people have been manipulative, secretive, deceptive. Deceptive. That sword over there on the desk, that's the sword of truth. Oh boy, I am hanging out for that. Although this whole process over the last year has been like, you see, we told ya. We told ya. And we were called all sorts of things, crazy and what's that other word they love to use? Conspiracy theorists? Well, now, 2024, we shall see, my friends. Okay, let's get another one on truth before we move on to water. Tell me more about truth. Although that's pretty self-explanatory, so actually let's shift to water. Because, as I said, a lot of different truths are coming out, and it's going to look different for everybody, right? So, basically, whatever is not authentic or whatever doesn't have integrity, that is going to fall away. For sure. Okay, tell me more. Water. Water. We've got 4 of Wands. More fire energy. Celebration. Celebration. Happiness, contentment. But there is going to be a reason for celebration. What has that got to do with water, though? Tell me more. Something may possibly within the next 3 to 6 months, maybe in the 4th month, perhaps April. Oh, it's too much. Might be celebration in April. What else? I don't know why I'm hearing closing out. Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is about betrayal, about deception as well. Perhaps this is what this is about. Need some clarity on this Three of Swords. The Tower. It has come up in reverse. This may have to do with like celebrating, understanding, coming to an awareness that whatever suffering was endured, there's now a reason to celebrate. So something may happen very dramatically, very drastically, that may realign some things. Some of it may be shocking. But this is also speaking to like people involved. If there's more than one person involved, they may have had to go through some type of tower situation. Or like a reflection process, I would say, with the Tower being card 16 reduced to 7, which is in the tarot the number of reflection. There's a need to let things unfold very naturally. With the Tower here in reverse, with the Three of Swords showing up, there may be things that end. There may well be things that end, as I said before. Things that are not of integrity and of authenticity are going to be stripped away, whether Tower in reverse, we like it or not. But this is essential for our growth. This needs to happen. These things that are no longer serving us need to be let go of. So this is seeming like I feel like this is actually just an ongoing energy of 2024. Like, that energy is not done yet. That energy is not done with us. But I feel like this is like a next phase, like phase 2. Let's call it phase of, phase whatever, of really coming into contact with who we are and unraveling from and letting go of all the ways in which we actually held back that process, that we were determined to stay afloat, or determined to not feel any suffering whatsoever, to not be in the space of trying to fix things that are well and truly broken. And there's going to be a reason to celebrate. So yeah, I'm not saying this process is easy. This, you know, some people refer to it as the dark night of the soul. It's not an easy process, but there is light on the other side. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Like, look at that big as bright moon lighting up the night. Like, it's lighting up the darkness. The clouds are parting away. There's a reason that these things are happening. 100 freaking percent. And if the death card showing up here twice does not indicate any type of transformation, then I don't know, peeps. I really don't. What else do we want? Let's get a couple of cards from the star codes. I can't believe this is the last. Pay attention to Neptune as well. There's some subtle energies going on with Neptune. Give us a couple of cards. What does this collective need to know about? What's the final message, I should say? Progressions, journey. This is about timing as well. So yeah, as I said, with the Tower here in reverse and the Three of Swords, it may not be easy. There are mountains on this journey. You know, there are mountains that need to be crossed and walked over and traveled. But in this card, there's like a highlighting of that, you know, like the looking glass. We're going to need to really analyze even the stories about that, the narratives about that I'm saying to you, oh, this is not easy. That's a narrative in and of itself, right? Like, shit, this shit is real. That is a narrative in and of itself, because it's related to ego. So if we can release our ego just a little, or a lot, this is the time. This is the time to do it. This is the time to really analyze the stories. Like I just said, this is not easy. That's a narrative. This card just called me out big time. That is a fucking narrative. I mean, being a realist, yep, it's challenging. Having gone through it myself and still moving through it, it is challenging, but it doesn't have to be freaking hard. All we need to do is just identify who we are, or ask ourselves, who am I? Timing is playing an important role here, and I'm not talking about necessarily the concept of time, because it's all a projection from us. Like, we perceive time, right? So however long that process is going to take is up to us. This is what I'm getting from this card. That is up to us. That is up to us as to how long we stay in this motherfucking space of sadness, grief, disappointment, longing for that which no longer exists. Focusing on, you know, who stabbed me in the back, and this person said this thing, and this is all mental. Check it out. Mental projections. The swords are represent the mental activity. It represents like all the things to do with the mind, logic, intelligence, perception, communication. So this is all perception. This is all perception. Yes, it's easy to say, but again, catching myself. And I feel like, personally, that's where I'm at right now. It's just like, you're just seeing shit for what it is. And some people might say, oh, they might call you certain things like, and I'm not saying this is what people have called me. I have been called blunt in the past, yes. But sometimes people cannot deal with truth when it's very direct. Like, very direct. Like, you just seeing things for what they are, calling it for what it is. That makes a lot of people very uncomfortable. And it creates a lot of tension. So just be wary of that. Just be wary that as you're on this journey of uncovering truth and unraveling from belief systems that no longer resonate with your frequency or who you really are, that may create tension. But there's also this need to say that, you know, it can also be quite fun. Not in a derogatory way, just in a like, oh my God, like I just said, I just caught myself out like, oh wait, that's a narrative, that's a belief, that's definitely a story you're saying, you're perpetuating there, that this process has to be hard. It actually fucking doesn't. The ego wants you to believe that it's hard because the ego doesn't like being called out. Yellow. Okay, let's get one more from this incredible deck. This doesn't have to be a painful process, and you do not have to do it alone. You're not doing it alone. There are multiple people on this journey with you. There's another card. Want to come out or what? Gemini. Oh, cross-pollinate. What were we talking about? We were talking about the Three of Pentacles. This is what this card is. Making connections, connecting with people, helping people, collaborating. So you don't have to do this alone. Okay. Okay, do we have time to do a one card pull for all the zodiacs? No, I don't think so. And after this message today, I actually don't think it's necessary. I'm just seeing this card wanting to come out, and it's the Sagittarius card, and it is expand. So, you know, expanding beyond what you are currently perceiving. And that starts by having a, you know, either if you want to call it beginner's mind or being in receptivity, being in a space of surrender, accepting that there are things that need to go. Yo. There are things that need to be let go of. And also just feeling into I don't know why I'm hearing the golden age. I'm not sure what that's about. The golden age. Does that make sense to anybody? I feel like there's a book about it. But this is stepping into realms of possibility that are beyond our conception, that are beyond our perception, I should say. You know? There's also this story, this narrative about things being revealed that are completely beyond our understanding and perception. I mean, we've got the half man, half horse here. It's like these mythical creatures, right? Mythical. And I was talking about the phoenix before. So yeah, we are currently in Sagittarius. Are we still in? I think we might be in Capricorn season now, actually. I forget the dates. But anyway, yeah, expansion is afoot. Or a hoof. Oh my God, not me being drier than blah, 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 blah. Okay. So what else do we need to know, or should we know about moving forward through these next few weeks, or moving into this next week, moving into a brand new spanking year? I guess the question is really reflecting on your own journey, really sitting with, before even the new year, really reflecting on what you've learned about how does this want to be said? Utilizing your experiences, utilizing your how does this want to be said? Legit. Looking at the past, reflecting on the past, and really digging deep into what that means. Celebrating simplicity. I'm more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. Yeah, perhaps it's about coming into a reflection on, does simplicity reflect in your life? Has it reflected? Like, because when I think of simplicity, the funny thing is, well, not so funny thing, depending on how you look at it, is every year I give myself, like, I used to call them focus words, now I call them context. So this year, 2024, the context for myself was simplicity. And I feel like what simplicity means on a deeper, more profound level is like letting go, is releasing things that are no longer required. I mean, the synchronicity of this is just incredible. So perhaps contemplate the journey that has been 2024, and was that an intention for you to simplify? And if not, how can you use that context of simplification moving forward into 2025? So even though my context was simplify for 2024, I still don't feel like I've 100% done that. I feel like I have done that in terms of learning more about myself, or learning more about self, and unraveling from a lot of belief systems. Not so much in the physical sense, like I'm still in this process of decluttering shit, right? So just taking a look at what simplification means for you. The context has changed. So for 2025, it has changed to I am. And that is speaking to really, really diving into practicing presence, and going within and being. So if you want to adopt that, I do highly recommend, having some sort of focus word, intention, context for a year. It does definitely help. Mine didn't sort of kick in until the end of the year, although energetically it was working throughout the whole year. I just didn't see it physically manifest until like the latter stages of the year. So really start thinking about what simplicity means to you and what letting go of means for you, because that is going to happen in the next year, in the next however long. As I said, Pluto in Aquarius, that is going to happen whether we like it or not. So we might as well get on board and start small and start simplifying our lives, right? I am more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. We have this idea and this perception that we need more, we need more, we need more. I feel the opposite. I feel like the less we have, the more space we have, the more we can actually receive, but not necessarily from a practical or physical sense, more from a whole embodied presence, if that makes sense. All right, give us a couple more cards for the last and final message of 2024. Thank you. Polishing my heart. Feeling is a power that helps me heal. So this is speaking to any sensations that are witnessed, any challenges and suffering that we do encounter in the next coming months, is to actually be with it. I think I've been talking about this for the last several months now, is to sit in your shit, is to be in what that is, so that you can alchemize it and move forward. But more so just to process and understand. I'm not even gonna add anything to that. Just be with what is when it arises. It's that simple. And you can adopt practices like somatic practices, breath work, movement, however it is that you regulate your nervous system to help you through that process. Because sometimes we get hit with emotions, or we get hit with thought processes that occur that we can't quite understand, and we try so hard, the ego tries so hard to label it and put a language to it. But sometimes we just have to experience that emotion unraveling from the body and moving out of the body without adding shit to it. It's like a drain trying to unplug itself organically, naturally. A drain trying to unplug itself, but we keep shoving more shit down the drain. Let the drain just settle and empty itself out. Okay. Why am I shuffling this again? Why am I shuffling? This might create some anxiety for people. This process, it might create some anxiety for people, and I'm just using that word as a bracket or umbrella term for emotions and sense perception. But really, it's just about being with that feeling. Discovering happiness. I allow myself to be content exactly as I am. Exactly. So even when we're feeling these emotions, that is part of who we are. That is part of this experience. So why would we exclude something as integral and necessary as dealing with and working through our shadow, doing our shadow work, I should say. One more. And that also speaks to the death card, working through shadow. We've got some major arcana cards here. Death, Tower. What else did we have? Big shifts. One more. Invoking self-realization. There you have it. Each breath confirms how awake I really am. So self-realization, self-awareness, presence, self-actualization, same but different. Really leaning into who it is that we really are. But in order to do that, we have to allow for everything that is current to just be, and not overthink it and not overanalyze it, and to breathe. I just said that, the somatic practices. Breathe through those moments of deep despair and deep grief, because emotions and sensations, they are but temporary. That too shall pass. That's a saying I like to say. That too shall pass. It won't last. It might feel like the world is going to end. And I can definitely speak to having those feelings a lot. But it's not the end. It is just the beginning. Phoenix energy, fire energy, right? Well, there you have it. My beautiful, beautiful friends. Thank you so much for hanging around with me this year. Well, for the last, how long? 5 months, 6 months that I've been doing this. Let me know in the comments below if any of this resonated with you. I'd love to connect with you as well. Still figuring all that stuff out. But yeah. Wishing you all the best. Wishing you a very, very Merry Christmas. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas. And take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Take care of each other. And I'll see you in the brand spanking new year of 2025. I cannot wait. I'm so excited for what's to come. But again, just living in the now, living in the present, practicing presence as much and as often as I'm aware. So, yeah, with that said, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the new year in the next video. Bye for now. Mwah.